We are back in the foundation. Week 1 of college football. Boys, can I get a 3 claps one time? All right, that was not in synchronicity, but that's okay because this football week is going to be pure chaos, I think. There could be some upsets. There could be some good games. There's already absolute chaos in the NFL. We got G-Money in the house to talk all about it. Micah Parsons, see you bye, Dallas. It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. Rick Barnes, a lifetime contract. This is Labor Day weekend. It's loaded. Joseph, hit that theme music. We coming right back. Entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Football's just our vessel. Lee Corso. We get one final headgear, friends. I'm so sad about it. I'm actually a little sad because I was like, man, I started thinking about it every Saturday. He was McAfee before McAfee. Like, he's just the greatest college football entertainer we've had and for the last, 30 years, 25 years? What is it?
They started Game Day in the 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
roughly.
Crazy, dude. That he's been our whole lifetime.
Yeah, he's been a staple.
Definitely
in Saturday morning.
Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Young Bruce has been here for a long time.
I told Drew and Greg on Monday, I was like, I've seen Lee Corso more than I've seen some of my own relatives.
Whoa.
Yeah.
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 Oh, no doubt about it. There are cousins that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Man. We'll get to college football. We got a lot to talk about. We got Core 4 finish out. But I want to bring a special man from the Foundation West now, live from the great state of Alabama. I will only call it great because he's there. He's going to talk a lot about his Green Bay Packers acquiring what might be the steal of the year and to get them over the hump. Greg Warner.
I don't think I ever I'm smiling for 2 reasons. I don't ever think or thought I would ever hear you say the words the great state of Alabama. I'm humbled and honored that you believe that just because I'm here, and I'm glad to hear those words come out of your mouth because even though I'm here, I didn't expect to hear those words ever come out of your mouth as a Tennessee Volunteer fan in about the 4.5, 5 years that I've known you. And then, yes, the shit-eating grin on my face is because the Green Bay Packers, I literally was throwing front toss on the field that I'm looking at earlier on Thursday and got the notification on my watch, and I just put my arm up in the air. Everybody's like, what in the hell are you doing? I was like, the Packers just got Micah Parsons. Let's go.
It doesn't feel real.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I know that's always something that was sort of like talked about, and there's always the rumor mill will always spin in whatever sport that it is. And everybody wants to draw the comparisons to, the Packers made that move in, 1993 to acquire Reggie White, and they got him. They brought him in. He ended up bringing a Super Bowl. He was, at that time, 32 years old. Micah Parsons, just the tender age of 26 years young. He's got 4 seasons in the league. He's never had less than 12 sacks in any season, a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. And this has really been a position that the Packers have struggled to fill since Clay Matthews was part of the fold, not too terribly long ago. But everything that they've thrown at the wall really hasn't stuck. We've been really waiting for Rashawn Gary to sort of turn that corner. He's never had more than 7.5 sacks or 9.5 sacks in a season. He's never had a double-digit sack season. Last year led the team with 7.5. There's high hopes for Lucas Van Ness. Again, young player, but now you pair Rashawn Gary with Micah Parsons. That's going to open up a world of things for Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, and this whole defensive line. I know you send Kenny Clark back the other way. I love what Kenny Clark was. He was kind of, it seemed like, on the downslide of his career. He had some good Pro Bowl years for the Packers, but you bring Micah Parsons in, and as you mentioned, Chase, it almost didn't feel real because when you heard that Micah Parsons had demanded a trade, and then in that last preseason game, he's taken a nap on the training table, in all of our hearts, I think we all sort of thought that, Jerry, he always opens up the pocketbook. He will always, This man gave a contract to Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
And you can't open up the pocketbook for a guy like Micah Parsons, a guy at a position that's proven to be more, I don't want to say lucrative or important than the running back position, but it's so much more difficult to find effective pass rushers, it feels like, than effective running backs. And you went out and paid a guy like Ezekiel Elliott that type of money. Okay, I get it when you want to pay the quarterback and Dak. I get it. Even though I would not have done that because I think we've seen the ceiling of Dak. And now, I mean, we were talking about fantasy a little bit earlier off the air. If you have Dak Prescott, if you have CeeDee Lamb, if you have George Pickens, get ready for a lot because that Dallas defense is about to be absolutely shredded because they are not going to get a lick of pressure on any opposing quarterback. And the offense is going to have to do a lot of things. But for the Green Bay Packers, this is a massive move. They were willing to pay him the most money a non-quarterback has gotten in NFL history. And if you're going to pay anybody, that is the man you pay. I know the Packers, in the Packers Twitter sphere, they've been talking maybe a little bit about looking at the Giants and the plethora of pass rushers that they have and thinking about a guy like maybe Kayvon Thibodeau. But if you're going to go out there and get anybody, this was the man you had to go out there and get. He's an absolute game changer on the defensive end. And as we talked about, just 26 years young in what should be a really good defense already in the second year of Jeff Hafley. I mean, Jeff Hafley has to be licking his ever-loving chops right now to get this level of a player in his defensive scheme. I would be shocked if the Packers aren't at the very least a top 10 defense come this season.
No doubt. It has the same feel to me, and I know, Drew, you mentioned this, that the Packers feel like they have a lot of number 2 wide receivers. It also kind of felt like that on like their defensive line. It's like, man, they got some good talent. Like you mentioned Gary, you mentioned a lot of these guys, like who they traded away. And it's just now it's like, well, you got a real game changer now. You've got a real game changer. And if those guys, you get to give those guys the opportunity to be, I don't know, better role players. I don't know how to describe it in the right way. Like these guys can take the next step. They're not getting all the pressure. Micah draws so much attention. He's so versatile. This is huge. I mean, because it's like, the Packers are pretty good. You kind of feel like anybody's going to win that division. Then this trade happened. It's like, that feels like a heavy favorite to me. Feels like a heavy favorite because that guy can wreck games so fast, and especially how good. And look, I know we don't know what's going to happen in Minneapolis yet, but I think that with KOC, anybody can be good. So you're going to have a good league of quarterbacks. And if they take a step up in Chicago with Ben Johnson now at the helm of as head coach, I just cannot believe that you got the guy that can ruin all their parties. You got the guy. You got him, G. You got him. I don't know if he's Reggie White, but he might be the damn closest thing. I don't know. I'm happy for you because, my boys' teams did good. I'm going to be pretty bad come like week 7. So I need something to cheer for.
I don't know, man. I'm excited for Cameron Ward. And yes, he wants to be called Cameron, I guess. But here's a little statistic for you guys and talking about Reggie White. And again, it's hard to say. And he's only played 4 seasons and he's off to an incredible start in his young career. But he and Reggie White are the only 2 players in NFL history to record at least 12 sacks in each of their first 4 seasons. Parsons' 52.5 sacks are 5th most in a player's first 4 seasons. So again, there's the parallels there between him and Reggie White. And again, I know I just mentioned Jeff Hafley was licking his chops. I'm licking my chops because I cannot wait to see how this, again, sort of unlocks the defense, as you just talked about, Chase, because it allows these other guys that have had to be the premier players to be those secondary sort of role players and just sort of fit into their lanes. And they don't have to feel like they need to be the hero and they don't need to make every single play because they have a bona fide superstar now on the defensive line. And now they have a bona fide superstar in the back end with Xavier McKinney. They have one in Josh Jacobs in the running back position. I don't know exactly what we have with Jordan Love. I don't think there's any bona fide superstars in terms of wide receivers or tight ends. There's a lot of good players, as you guys just talked about. But if you look at just the Patriots, just for an example, I was talking to my uncle about them the other day. The Patriots, when they were winning all their Super Bowls, really good quarterback play, just a lot of different guys on the outside as wide receivers. but incredible defenses. And again, this gives you an opportunity to have an incredible defense with an incredible pass rusher. So yeah, I can't stop smiling, dude. I am so excited to hear that news on Thursday. This is like the definition of a feel-good Friday for me.
Yeah, 4 years, $188 million.
Ooh, pay that man.
That's a lot of M's, but I love it because what are the Packers going to do with those picks? Like, if you're going to be good, like, what are you going to do with them? Like, are you going to get anything? Are you going to get two guys that even come close to half the value of having Micah Parsons on your team? Probably not.
Probably not.
I like what you said about Kenny Clark. Like, has been probably a staple for the Packers franchise, has been a steady hand on the interior of that defensive line. But now you don't have to pay him again, and you kind of offset his salary, and you can invest in – Micah will probably be a top 5 player for the duration of this contract. It's only 4 years. It's 4 years. You can legitimately say from ages 26 to 30, that would be a pass rusher's prime. And, I mean – I love it because they go all in. I feel like a lot of teams in the NFL miss their window because they're scared of like not being good enough. But if you do have something with Jordan Love, if he stays healthy, you have Josh Jacobs, who is going to be probably as affordable as good running backs come over the next few years, especially with the resurgence of the running back position. I mean, this just makes sense for everybody on the Packers. The other team involved in this deal, Jerry may not be alive to take those picks. I mean, I didn't look at the years of the picks, but like
26 and 27.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's hope he's alive, but
Let's hope so.
still, like, and it's the same argument on the other side. Like, what are you going to do with those picks? And then on the other side, now you have Dante Fowler Jr., who is 31, by the way. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But are you banking on the career resurgence, or are you trying to reset? Because if you're trying to reset, you already paid Dak and CD, so their contracts are going to come back up again by the time that these rookies would get back into their form, or excuse me, not back in the form, when they're kind of breaking out around that year 2, year 3 mark, if these rookies are any good. But I mean, you're just as likely to pick a receiver who doesn't play, or you're just as likely to take an offensive guard who is just serviceable and he's there for 4 years. He's there for his rookie year. Maybe you pick up the 5th year option. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you let him leave? Like, I mean, Kenny Clark, great. Is he going to be a Dallas Cowboy for the next, I haven't looked at his contract. Is he going to be a Dallas Cowboy for the next 3 years? Probably not.
Doubtful. If you're not paying Micah, you're not going to pay that.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised because I don't know if you guys listened to Shefty yesterday. He was talking about the Henderson contract and Terry McLaurin's contract. And it felt like neither one of those deals were even close. He's like, it was until that day, they just figured it out. And if anybody's just going to figure it out and get a deal done, it's Jerry. Like you mentioned, G, he pays his guys. He always has. That's why whenever all these guys get asked to come back and say nice things about Jerry, they do it for a reason, because stack them wallets. Stack those wallets, baby. And so I'm very surprised that nothing got done, because this must have been much worse. And hearing all the rumors, it sounds as if whatever the meeting they had, the man-to-man meeting and all that stuff, there was never a tender. Yeah, there was never a tender sent to them. Like, there was no due diligence by the Cowboys in this whole process. It was just like shake hands meeting. But I think that's just not how it's done. And I think Jerry gets a little bit like fake with that stuff in my mind nowadays. He's like, I'm a handshake deal guy. It's like, no, you're not, bro. Your son sends contracts. Like, that's not how things are done. You know that. It didn't work out. And I'm just very surprised. If you had one more chance, this is as close you're going to get with when you got Pickens. It's like, I know we can score. We can't play defense. Now you sure as hell can't play defense. So this blows my mind in this division, because you just traded to another competitor in the NFC.
I mean, what is the realistic ceiling for the Cowboys now? Probably 9-8.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like, I mean, and not to drag on them or anything, but at the collection of talent that you've got across your roster, I mean, I'm sorry, you just don't have the guys to let this guy walk out of the door. Like, if you're the Bengals and you let Trey Hendrickson walk out, it's kind of the same thing, but you still have guys, you still have like ceiling raisers like Burrow and Jamar, who are a little bit better, a little bit better than CD and Dak comparatively, to where you can convince yourself, okay, we can get to 11-5. or excuse me, 11-6. But I mean, this team is going nowhere. I mean, they're just going to be in perpetual mediocrity until they figure out, either they commit to the paying your guys strategy or they commit to developing talent. And so far, it looks like neither of those is happening.
Here's something I'll say about this, because I read this in the article as well. If you want to give a silver lining sort of to the Cowboys, it's you can look back to the Herschel Walker trade when they traded him to Minnesota and they got a couple of first-round picks back for him. And that's sort of what led to their uprising there in the 90s. They were able to sort of rebuild a little bit with those first-round picks. So that's sort of, if you're the Cowboys, that is the hope that you need to hold on to. But again, as we just talked about, Drew, like, I just don't believe that the Cowboys are going to like really suck, because they're going to be good enough on offense, especially passing the football. Again, I don't know what the hell they're going to do running the football with Javonte Williams there, and Jaden Blue, but you'll be like somewhere in the middle. And Chase, I know we talk about it sort of with the Titans of like, if you're just kind of average, that's like the worst place to be, because you don't get a high leverage draft pick. You just traded to the Packers and to get a first round pick. The hopes are the Packers, from a Packers perspective, they're going to be good for the next couple of years. So that pick you got from the Packers isn't going to be incredibly high. Yeah, you may double up with what you've got, but that's a middle and then a late round first pick. So what kind of incredibly big asset are you going to get, unless you take those picks and you package them to give them to somebody else, and then you can get something back, a higher draft pick or whatnot, then you can try to make your move that way. But I think the Cowboys just have too many holes right now that they probably just need to hold on to all those picks and try to fill them. But the hope is that they're not even going to have that high leverage pick. And so it's going to be maybe a little bit difficult to rebuild. But we'll see. I mean, if you're the Cowboys, that's really the only silver lining you can sort of look at with this trade, because it really, in my eyes, doesn't make much sense, especially if the Bengals are going to pay Trey Hendrickson to come back. And the Bengals, that was surprising to me. It was more surprising. I thought if anybody was going to get traded, it would probably be Trey Hendrickson, just because the Bengals are so cheap and Jerry isn't. Jerry has a bleep ton of money. I haven't watched that documentary, but I heard all about it and how much money he's got and the oil rig and all that good stuff that he got rich from. He's got a bleep ton of money. And so, again, it just surprises me that he wouldn't pay that guy. And it just seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of movement with his agent. His agent really wasn't budging. Jerry Jones wasn't budging. And then it was just kind of, it all came to a head on like Thursday, maybe morning, I think. And it was like, all right, we're going to be kind of open to trade talks at this point. And the Packers were always sort of that name that was thrown in there because of what they've done in the past. They don't typically make big moves like this, but when they do, they fire big and they aim high. And in the past, they've really done a really good job at hitting on those with Reggie White, with Julius Peppers, with Charles Woodson. I know those guys were a little bit older when they became Packers. This is a dude, as you just talked about, Joseph, in his prime, or Drew talked about it, in his prime for the next 4 years, that he could absolutely dominate
a very, very good division too.
Yeah.
That's again, you just mentioned it, and to harp on them, like, you guys and the Cowboys have to be excellent to make it out of that division with a rising Redskins. We'll call them that now.
The Commanders.
The Commanders.
Stay strong.
No, I'm gonna stay in that. That's for Papa Ed. And obviously with the Super Bowl winning Eagles, like, and you're gonna trade away you're probably your overall best player. It just blows my mind. Diggs doesn't come back for 3 more weeks, so these first 2 or 3 weeks for the Cowboys is going to be awful on defense. I'm so sorry. It might be fun, like as a casual viewer, you're just like, points. We're gonna have a lot of them. But I do not understand the trade from the Cowboys' perspective, because that's a tough division, man. It's a tough division, and they're going to have to dig themselves out of a lot of holes. But
yeah, and that's a really good division. That's a really good division as it is, as you guys were just talking about. Like, and now you just got worse. Like, how do you expect to make the playoffs at this point?
I don't know.
You can't. You're going to be mired in mediocrity at this point, and that is the worst place to be in sports.
Yeah, especially there. Especially in that NFC, like it's not crazy to think that Washington takes a step back and then you can get in the slot, like you can take their spot. I mean, that's not crazy to think, but without Micah, and to have the expectation that you can even come close to making the same Herschel Walker trade is It's dreamsmanship, if you will.
It really is. It is. But
It
you
really
gotta give
is.
the
Like, I was
Cowboys something.
I was like, all right. Steven and Jerry both are like, hey, we did Herschel Walker right. It's not real. That's not, I mean, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, your greatest offensive line of all time. They don't just come around that often, you know?
Yeah.
You got lucky. You got lucky in trading away what may have been the best running back at the time. So,
And hey, look, this is the second time within a year that Dallas has traded away a big superstar, and there's no lottery that's going to save the Dallas Cowboys that they can get lucky in.
this is crazy. Dallas, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully,
I'm not. Thank you, Dallas.
well,
Miggy probably feels the same way.
yeah, Miggy sure does. And I'll say this, GT, tough, buddy.
Hey, they got Cooper Flagg. They got Anthony Davis. They got Kyrie.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
All right. We going to college football, boys? You ready to talk some ball?
Let's do it.
Fiending.
I can imagine. All right.
Update on the Rutgers, Ohio over for anyone who cares. They are now 6 points away.
And
We
we
need
made it to
some big-
halftime yet?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Drew's cooked.
Yeah.
Drew is cooked.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys took those as singles, everybody.
That one.
Oh, that wasn't on the list. That's
That
right.
wasn't on. That was not on the
Yeah,
chat.
That's
slip.
right.
We're
That's
good.
right.
Yeah.
That's
No,
right.
no. We're actually trending in a very good direction for the opening bet of the chat slip as it is halftime. South Florida's up 10-7 on
Let's
Boise
go,
State,
baby. I did not expect that to be a battle royale, you know? Thursday nights are awesome. I'm so pumped college football's back. Oh, real quick. Lifetime contract, Rick Barnes. We'll talk about that for 2 minutes here.
Mhm.
I just feel like all that says is Rick and Danny sat down and Rick's like, I got a year.
Yeah.
I think the lifetime contract is
5
Hey,
years
man.
at max, maybe.
he's like, I got 2 or 3 years. I want to go ahead and take care of my grandkids. Danny's like, I don't want to hire a basketball coach in this realm. I think they've got a Hawaii schedule for back-to-back years. Rick's like, I'd like to go wear a Hawaiian shirt on Tennessee's dime for 2 more years. Probably make a Sweet 16 and Elite 8. That's all I got. I think a lifetime contract is 2 to 3 years tops.
He already got an extension. He just got an extension through 27-28.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking too, like, if you're Danny White, you're like, listen, let me get football out of these recruiting violations. Let me get them past that, and then they can kind of take off because you got Tristan Keys today. That's a huge flip from LSU.
Yeah.
Like, let me worry about once football kind of takes back off and we're on an even playing field without these recruiting restrictions, then I'll worry about hiring a basketball coach. So give me like 3 years, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I truly believe that this was a conversation to do 2 things. I think it's Rick was like, I ain't got that long, man. And then I also think it was a perception idea of, I don't know who our next guy will be at Tennessee. I think the job is way better now. Like, Rick made the job better. We're doing great in the recruiting scale. Like, all those things when it comes to basketball is really up the ante thanks to Rick Barnes. But I think it's showing the next guy we take care of our guys. Same thing if you want to go back and use a little Jerry Jones, like, we take care of our guys. I think Danny White's doing that, but just way better shoe collection.
Agreed.
Yeah, Danny's got some style, boys.
Drip, as the kids would say.
Is that what you hear? Oh yeah, you're in the lingo world now. Dude.
I am. I went to church on Wednesday night with some of the girls, and the pastor was like using all of these like slang lingo things that the kids say nowadays, and I've heard most of them. But one of the girls said something to me the other day, and I was like, "What?"
Please.
Had no idea.
What's a new one?
Op.
Oh,
I guess it means like fake.
opponent. Wait, I
No,
thought
not opponent.
I thought op was like opposition.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's a sports thing.
No, it's opposition.
No, it's- yeah.
It stands for opposition, but
Yeah.
Well, it does as well. Yes, but
yes,
apparently it means something different to them.
in never mind. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I have a teenage sister, but
Oh, okay.
yes.
A couple of them are right here. You want me to get them on and they can explain it to you?
No, we're good.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to go. Down
I don't
the
want
rabbit
to
hole.
deep dive on op today. What else, what's another one? I miss. That's the only thing I
I
miss.
mean, there's Riz, there's gas, there's no cap. I mean,
So is gas just gaslighting?
no, gas is like, that's fire. Like, that's good.
I feel like that's gas has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think I'm overthinking it because I thought gaslighting and gas. I thought they might have just shortened it.
No.
Because that's what all of our friends do is like we
Oh, it
come up
just
with a
slowly
name and then you
gets-
just condense it down. Yeah, being away from the college athletics, I don't know what you young bucks say anymore. So
Yeah, I'm constantly learning.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Gotta stay up.
Stay young, stay relevant. I'm
boy.
trying.
All right,
Let's pivot.
let's pivot. College football. It's go time.
Football time.
Let's do it. All right, Joseph, give us a little breakdown. What do I need to do, and what do we got going on for the rest of the show?
All right, Chase. So on Monday, we did the first two of our core four picks. We elected to start with Syracuse and Tennessee playing in Atlanta, and then transition to Texas visiting the Buckeyes in the shoe. So while you were gone, we made all of our predictions. So now you get to give us the speed run, spark notes, quick version of yours. And then once you get all caught up, ready for the graphic and everything, we'll move on to Clemson and LSU in Death Valley, or what could be the real Death Valley, depending on who wins that game, and Notre Dame and Miami in what is a rehashing of Catholics versus convicts. I don't know if we're actually going to use that term. Like, are we still?
I said
still throwing that around today?
I said it today on the
is it-
radio. I don't know if Gino cut it.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I mean, it's kind of a cool name for a game.
It is a sweet
Like,
game.
It is kind of a
I want to get one of the shirts really bad.
yeah, same. But it's got to be in like that 80s like
Yeah.
font. Like I want it in that like style.
Yeah.
Like Champion brand t-shirt.
I thought that was a real quick on this. I won't go down a rabbit hole, but I thought that was a cool part about the doc was all those people that made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Selling those fake shirts,
Yeah.
like out on that interstate where they're at. I was like, that's so smart.
Yeah.
They're just some dude that's like, yeah, I paid for my house for a year with that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that doc was cool.
Yeah. it was.
All right, Tennessee. We talked about it a little bit. I don't know why, but it makes me feel weird that it's 13.5. I feel like that's pretty heavy. I think Syracuse away from the Carrier Dome is a different ball club. I think that's just a tough place to play. It's a weird spot to go to in the country. You know, it's a journey for most people. I'm trying to think. I don't know what's the closest school to that. Like Pitt, maybe? It's not really an easy place to get to.
Temple.
Yeah, probably something.
Temple, maybe. I guess. Yeah, Purdue. Yeah, something like that.
It's
In
not
terms
that
of-
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over there. You know,
Mhm.
you're thinking you're almost Niagara
up
Falls
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
Rutgers.
weird spot. Everybody's got a journey up there. It's cold as crap, and then you obviously wind up in this dome where it's so loud. They're good at home. They're like one of those like ranked teams going up there. I have a big worry. Don't have that same worry. I think Tennessee's done pretty good in these Atlanta games. If you go back to the NC State stuff, it's pretty impressive. Then obviously you have the Georgia Tech absolute battle where you make a tackle at the 1 yard line to win the game. But I don't love us dominating that game. I think it'll be relatively close. I say that it'll be a double digit. I think it's a 10-point kind of game. I think Tennessee's going to handle business. I think they're just too good defensively. I think that this is not a plug and play type of offense with running backs, but I do think that with a relatively talented running back, especially duo now with Bishop and them, I think there's a really good path to get to 1,000 yards for any decent running back. I think that's going to happen. The rave around the offensive line has been so much better. I think we just kind of beat them up front. I don't know if they can score that much on this defense. I think Tim Banks has done such a good job, and I think our defensive front is going to be pretty nasty. You hear with the Jermod McCoys that this is going to be a good secondary. We're going to lock down receivers. They're best receivers now at Penn State, and it's a lot of things that work against Syracuse. It's going to be a home game for Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee straight up, and I don't think it's going to be a competitive game throughout. I think there'll be moments where you're like, Syracuse is kind of in it, and then, they'll get to like a backdoor cover, if you will. I think that's kind of how this game is. It's not going to be a fun game. The fun game is actually going to be on the other screen, and that's Texas Ohio State. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. I feel like I've gone back and forth like 10 times in my mind of it's at
for sure.
Ohio State,
Mhm.
but it's Texas. I think Texas is the most overall talented team. I want to believe in Arch, but I've definitely faded to cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. I think that's where because they both took Texas.
Yeah.
I've got Ohio State.
Yep.
And the only reason I have Ohio State is because of that shoe.
It's at the shoe.
Yeah, that really has to play a factor. And it just this is kind of like the Maui Invitational in college basketball. Like, yes, this is very fun, and like getting to see Duke and UConn play each other in the Maui Invitational is really cool. But does this actually matter? The only thing this matters for is playoff seeding.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Texas or Ohio State this year especially is going to put themselves in a position where they're going to miss the playoffs by losing this game. It would be the only way that they would do that if one of these teams just stinks it up against somebody they shouldn't.
Yeah. I do think it's like a weird thing. Like it could kick them out of the playoffs because there's definitely a path where both these teams lose 2 games with their schedule.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it loses. If you lose this game, it loses we got a game to spare. Like you lose 2. If you lose to Penn State, then you lose to Michigan.
Yeah, I think
But
I don't know.
Texas.
I think this game is kind of important for both these teams because like you look at Ohio State and they play Penn State in probably what's going to be the closest that Penn State's been to them in a few years. And I know how we've all not to beat a dead horse and talk about James Franklin again, but we know what the expectation is in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time you play Michigan, they're not the same team that's about to run out and play as a 35-point favorite. Like Bryce Underwood's going to have a whole season under his belt. They beat you last year when they couldn't complete a forward pass, and you were better than you were last year, and you had them at home. So, like, that's not a guaranteed win for Ohio State. So, if Ohio State loses, they very well could end up being a 3-loss team, and this could be the game that keeps them out of the playoff. So, I don't know if I'd necessarily say that, like, this game doesn't matter because you could go for Texas and say the same thing. Like, Texas has to go to Florida and to Georgia this year.
Yeah.
And they have to play what's probably a much better Oklahoma team than last year. So I don't want to say this game doesn't matter. I don't think that's
no
true, but it's definitely, yeah, I think it's fair to say it doesn't carry the same weight as a game like this did in the 14 playoff era. That's totally 100% accurate. But this still isn't a game that you want to lose with what both these teams having the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think winning this game affords you 2 losses because these will be these will be 2 top. I really don't see a path, and I could be wrong. I could eat crow, but I do not see a path where either one of these teams is outside the top 15 at the end of the year.
Winning this game, to me, feels like it's a feather in the cap for a team to miss their conference title game.
Yes.
As long as they're like right outside, like 2 losses. Ohio State last year. If they'd had this game last year, it's like, well, they still beat Texas. You know, they're still going to make the playoff. I think this game is a feather in the cap for whatever team wins to be like, hey, you don't, as long as you take care of business in most other places, you don't have to make your conference title game to still be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Because you have this will be a top 5 win.
It'll be huge. And it's a momentum thing, big noon kickoff. Like, I got to give our guy credit. You want to talk about entertainment. You want to talk about stirring the pot. It is Lee Corso's last week, and I haven't heard a thing about it except for Dave Portnoy not being able to go inside that damn stadium. It's incredible. Like, this is a huge sentimental moment. Feel good. And here's Dave Portnoy front and center.
Yeah.
All these media things happen this week, and it's Dave Portnoy front and center. Oh, Barstool Jr. That's all ESPN is. Like, the guy crushes. But man.
Who you got?
I'm actually going to go off a little bit what you and I talked about the other night.
Yeah.
I am going to go Texas. It's a little bit because Joseph pushed me over the edge because of Julian saying. We're just like a little worried about saying.
Yep.
We're just a little bit worried. I think he is a guy that gets comfortable in time. I think that boy's gonna be real shaky.
Yeah,
because everybody has the expectation, and I think that's what I worry a little bit with Ty Simpson in week 1 is everybody's like, "Hey, dude, just get these studs the ball. You got Tate, you got Jeremiah Smith, you probably got some great tight end that we don't even know about yet." I think they actually do have the number 1 tight end coming out for the NFL draft next year. So it's like, huh. You get a little nervous whenever you can't complete that first or second pass because Texas is going to come after you. They're going to bring it. They got a nasty defensive front. Corners are pretty good. So if like you can get, just a little adrenaline coverage and you get Jeremiah Smith on the first couple ones, then he misses the deep ball. Let's say he got an open shot. We saw it with Nico plenty of times. Got that deep ball. They schemed open. He misses it. And I think Arch does have it up here. He's going to make mistakes.
He should.
But I think he's got I don't think he cracks. I think he's going to love this. I think he's going to embrace it. He's done a really good job of, I'll show you. He's not going to talk his talk yet. He will during the game, But I think overall, Texas has got a little bit of we need this one more. I think you guys kind of all made this point on Monday of Sark needs this more than Ryan Day. And it has to happen because I do think that Texas is probably going to lose 2 games along the way.
What 2 games do you think those are going to be?
I do think that at Florida really worries me.
At Florida, at Georgia, and then at home against Texas A&M might be those.
In the predictions, I actually think they get the Georgia game.
At Georgia.
But I think they lose to Oklahoma. I don't know. I think that's one of those things. There is a 2-loss world. Those losing 2 of those 3 is just very plausible. I would take you lose 2 of those 3 before you win
all of them.
Yeah. Because that at Georgia game is going to be brutal. But I think Mateer really getting high on the guy, especially bringing over Grubb. Dang, that's going to be such a good Grubb. But bringing over Zoc, I think that's going to be such a fun game. That's going to be a good one. But this Texas team, it's just a gauntlet, dude. Because the round robin of it's like Texas, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and I guess you can kind of throw Tennessee in there, but that group's just going to beat the crap out of each other. And I think South Carolina is the one that gets the worst into all that. But, dude, Texas and Georgia and Bama, survival of the fittest in that one. And I think Texas needs this one bad. Because no matter how good we think a Penn State is with their talent right now, the mental edge of Ohio State's probably going to prevail. I kind of don't want it to. I'd like to see Franklin get that game. I do have a little Ohio State fatigue after last year because they beat the holy hell out of Tennessee. So I'd like to have that one back. I'd like to see them lose as much as possible now. But I don't think it's realistic.
Plus, that game's in November. So, like, the Ohio State you see on Saturday is not going to be the same Ohio State that Penn State goes up to play.
No.
Like, they're going to be
close.
Yeah, they're going to be a much – Julian saying will, at that point, almost not be a first-year starter anymore. Like, he'll have enough games under his belt where it's like, okay, we kind of know. It. Barring Julian still playing, all that is understood. But there will not be the same team that rolls out and plays Texas on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they'll be much more refined.
I don't remember. What did you guys think? Did y'all think this would be lower scoring or more of a high scoring game?
I have it like 27-20.
Something like that.
28-27. Around like the 50 to 55 point range, I think feels, maybe a little bit under 50. Feels
I'm thinking like in like low 50s, maybe.
Again, first year starting quarterbacks, the defense's first game of the year should probably, and Joseph, you mentioned a lot of the names coming back on defense for both teams, and the defense should probably prevail a little bit. Not saying either one of these offenses can't do anything. They will do things, but again, first year starting quarterbacks bring a lot of back on their respective defenses. So there will be some moments. Arch will make some big plays with his legs and his arms, and obviously Jeremiah Smith is going to make some plays, and Carnell Tate's going to make some plays. But yeah, I'm with you, Chase. I think Texas will come out on top in this one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I thought we were all kind of aligned on that. I think we're going to see a lot of scampers. I think these D lines are going to get after it early, ears pinned back. Everybody's not beat up yet. Camps are a little different nowadays. I think the juice on defense is just going to overcome the inexperience on offense early on. So, but I think we're going to see, like you mentioned, G, we're going to see a couple scampers out of Arch. Everybody's like, holy shit, that guy's still fast.
Yeah.
He's a Manning.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see your boy, Bo Atkinson. Like, I want to know how he does against this Texas O-line. Because, like, I know what I'm going to get on the Texas side from Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons.
Yeah.
Getting after Julian saying, but, like, what kind of help is Bo Atkinson going to give Kenyatta Jackson Jr. to get after Arch? Like, because Kenyatta Jackson Jr. is good, but he just was behind Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau. So, like, you get why he was the third guy. Now it's him and Bo Atkinson. So, like, how does Bo? Because I think it's a step up in competition to play this Texas O-line, even though it's not the same O-line as last year.
No.
Than what Bo was playing against last year. So I'm very interested to see like that aspect of the game and how Bo Atkinson can affect, if he can affect Arch.
Yeah. It's a very, very different level.
Yeah, because he was a highly touted edge transfer coming out of North Carolina. So like there were a lot of big schools that wanted him. Ultimately, Ohio State won the sweepstakes. But
yeah, so with Bo, there was times throughout the last couple games, especially when you saw him, I feel like that with every Carolina transfer, going to Texas Tech, things like that. Like there was individual skill guys. These are still Division I ACC guys. Like these are very talented cats.
Oh, yeah.
They just had the talent around in most areas was so bad that this guy's going to be really good, really good. Jack Sawyer's hard to replace, but
yeah.
I think Ryan Day's probably done a really good job with Bo. I think you're giving him some freedom. He's like, this is what a one-on-one feels like. That's kind of fun.
And what Matt Patricia dials up for him to get like rushes and how Matt Patricia uses him versus like Jim Knowles and how he used Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau last year.
Yeah.
That's going to be another interesting nugget in this game.
Yeah. So
I'll
ask this real quick and then we'll move on to the next game.
Yeah.
I want to phrase this correctly because we kind of think of Patricia and I guess even Belichick since we got him on Monday. Do you think that learning curve is really fast to go from the pros down to college? And also putting the consideration that these are college level players. Like, do you think the scheme can be so good from those guys and knowing where to be that it's easier for them just to go down and they'll make a quick jump, I guess, in that category?
I would say no. And the reason I say that is because you're not Kirby Smart, for an example.
Yeah.
Kirby's defense is complicated. And it's hard for first-year players to learn. That's why you don't see a lot of first-year players playing at Georgia. So if you take that to the NFL, it's probably more complicated in how they scheme and how they run their defense in the NFL. So I think your challenge if you're an NFL guy coming to college is not necessarily implementing the scheme, but just getting it to click with guys because they are younger.
Yes.
Versus like if you're an NFL DC and you've got some guys coming to you from a college, they've been in a system for 3-4 years, and it is still a step up because you see that a lot, especially on the offensive side of the ball, where it's just the terminology is different and it's more complicated. And I think you have that same issue on the defensive side where you know it and you know what you want to run, but you can only do so much if your players don't understand it.
That's true. So it's more about the guys that you're playing with, you're using, I guess, as a coach in the NFL already know where to be.
Exactly.
You're having to teach these guys everything.
Matt Patricia knows where he wants Caleb Downs to be.
Yeah.
Like he knows where he wants Kenyatta. Like he knows where these guys need to be and how to get them there. And a guy like Caleb Downs is probably somebody he can go to and be like, Caleb, this is what we want to do. Like Caleb's going to be your field general for the secondary. So like that's probably a guy you can find. You have a veteran dude that just absorbs football like that. But that's not the same for you got a kid fresh out of high school or a kid who's 19 or 20 and they're just like, coach, this isn't clicking for me, you know? So like Matt may know what he wants the guys to do, but you see it a lot with young players that come in and they're really talented. They just bust because they're just not in the right position. Even though they have all this talent, it just happens because they're just kids, man. I mean, I know we look at them as adults, but they're 19, 20, they're still kids. So I think that's the big challenge coming from NFL to college is just having the players understand your scheme, because once you get to the NFL, it's like they're not NFL vets, but they're probably more football vets than 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids that are, was a 5-star, but he's still 20 years old.
Yeah. Cool. I was just kind of wondering how you guys thought about that because a guy like Bo for them too. You want to get one thing. I like to believe Bo and that Carolina team broke FSU officially. I think Bo had like 3.5 sacks that game. So that was cool because I was like, that Carolina team's bad. I don't think they're very good, and that established how terrible FSU was.
Yeah.
So on to the next.
Yep. So with that being done, and Chase being caught up, so you're officially on Tennessee and Texas.
Yeah,
The UTs.
The UTs. All right. Well, just like the WTs, boys, we have the battle for Death Valley, and Brian Kelly's taking the LSU Tigers over to South Carolina to play Dabo Sweeney and Cade Klubnik. Does anybody want to start, or do you want me to start?
Sure.
I can start.
You want me to start in the battle for Death Valley?
Yeah, go ahead.
Greg, you want to?
Let Greg
I mean, I can start if y'all want, but if you want to just go ahead.
Go ahead and start.
Go for it.
All
Give
right.
us your thoughts.
So when it comes to this game, I'll just tell you right now, I'm on Clemson. Clemson will win this game. And when it comes to LSU, I know they return Harold Perkins, and that's going to be huge for their defense. But the one thing that I am really, really looking at in this game that is going to tilt the scales towards Clemson, because both of these teams, as we talked about in our Game of the Year draft, and this was one of my picks, they have returning quarterbacks that have proven something. Grant Nussmeier led I think it was the 7th ranked passing offense last year. They've got some more weapons in there for him to throw to. Running back is fine, but the thing that scares me the most is I think there's 4 new starters up front for LSU. And against this defensive line for Clemson that is going to be nasty, this may be, very well may be, one of, if not the most talented team Clemson's ever had in Dabo Sweeney. So for that very reason, again, that is going to be my key factor. Clemson's going to get after Grant Nussmeier. He's going to make it difficult for him all game long. Not saying that Nussmeier won't be able to make some throws and do some things and move the football a little bit. But to me, that's going to be the big thing. Clemson's going to get after Nussmeier. They'll find a way to win this game, make it really difficult for him to get super comfortable. And then LSU's defense last year, 76th against the pass. And last time I checked, Cade Klubnik was pretty good throwing the football, over 3,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions or whatever it was. He was incredible. He's also a run threat, and that's something LSU's defense had some trouble with last year. So Cade is going to be able to throw the ball on this defense. He will be able to run around and scramble a little bit and hurt them, and they're going to get after Nussmeier. So I've got Clemson winning this game.
Well,
Go ahead, Drew.
oh man. All right. I flip-flopped on this one like 5 times. I told you guys, had a little touch of insomnia, couldn't sleep. It wasn't college football excitement. It was just poorly timed nap. But look, you laid out a perfect game script there, Greg. I'm not going to dive really far into the game. I just want to lay out there what can't happen in this game. If this is a close game, both of these teams win. Like, no, yeah, LSU's there's gonna be some national media headlines like, oh, LSU can't get it done, Brian Kelly can't get it done, and that'll dominate the headlines for a few days, and that's fine. But if LSU walks out of here 34-31, they feel pretty good about their season. They really do. Now they have to take care of business in the SEC. That's no easy job. If LSU loses this game by 13 plus, and I'm not talking like it's 7 points the whole way, Clemson punches it in with 1:20 to go, and LSU can't get back in the end zone, Clemson wins 30-17. It was 23-17 the whole way. That's not what I'm talking about. If LSU is dominated in this game, that's a problem. That's a big problem because this is week 1. I think this is probably the weakest we're going to see this Clemson team. When they get rolling in the ACC, which we've been over, is their conference to win. I mean, they're going to be damn near unstoppable. This is the weakest you're going to get them. I think this is the most out of sync that you'll get them, even though they do return a lot of players. For LSU to have spent all this money, for them to be as positioned as well as they are in recruiting, for them to return talents like Harold Perkins, Garrett Nussmeier, they have to at least be competitive in this game throughout. And they have to. And if they win this game, then this is a big deal for Brian Kelly. I mean, this will kind of be a statement win that he hasn't had in quite a long time, in a few years at LSU. I mean, I harken back. We've talked about the Alabama win. We've talked about him beating Bryce, all that good stuff. But you lost to USC last year. Now you've got Clemson, which is even more of a task. With all that being said, because I know all you're going to take Clemson, I'm going to take LSU. I don't want to back Brian Kelly, but I want, on the off chance that that little graphic of Core 4 goes my way, and all 4 of you, which I'm including Malcolm in this as well, are picking Clemson, because I know he's going to pick Clemson because he's the biggest Brian Kelly op. There we go. We'll get the young verbiage in there. He's the biggest Brian Kelly op there is. I will take LSU I will take them 31-27. Give me Cade Klubnik to throw 2 interceptions if that happens, because he's going to have to turn the ball over for that to happen. If Cade Klubnik plays a turnover-free game, LSU has no chance winning this game. Clemson is going to have to make the mistakes to gift LSU this game, because as good as they are, Clemson's better. So give me LSU 31-27.
Chase?
He's got to win it. I mean, Kelly has to win it, but he's not gonna. I guess I didn't think about like how long the streak was of how many game ones that he's lost.
0-5.
0-5, dog. That's incredible.
LSU is 0-5.
LSU is 0-5
in season openers.
He is
2020.
0-4.
He's 0-4.
0-4. Yeah.
UCLA, Florida State twice, USC.
Wow, it's Florida State twice, wasn't it?
Florida State twice. Yep.
Yeah, I guess I was combining that in one. Wow. I don't know what it is about that. There is a thing with coaches that get their guys ready to play. This is going to be real tough to get your guys ready to play. Like, this has the same impact that the Ohio State-Texas game does, because this affords you a loss down the road. Like this, if you get this win on either side, it cancels out a mediocre. Like if you stumble, if Clemson stumbles against Georgia Tech,
if they pull like they did against Louisville last year,
bingo, this affords you that loss. You get to make up for it. Because I think talent-wise, this LSU team is one of the cream of the crops. I just don't believe Kelly's a very great coach. I think he's a good coach. I think he can win at a place like, I don't know, Notre Dame. But I don't think that he's very good as an LSU head coach going through this gauntlet. I think he is really feeling the pressure. I think he is like a diplomatic type where he can show the perception that he's not scared, but he's doing all the terrible old man media stuff. He's not good at this. He's calling LSU, or he's calling Clemson the Death Valley Junior and all that crap. It's like, you suck at this, dude. And when you're having to resort to that crap, I think Clemson's gonna get you. I think the defense is just a little bit better. I don't know if pure talent-wise, top end to bottom guy is that much better than LSU, but I do think they have a couple guys that can ruin your day. I know Blake Baker is somebody that they were proud to get. They wanted to get that. They have to improve. They were a lot better last year. I'll say that. Can't go. It's USC.
It's hard to get much worse.
It's hard to get much worse than them and USC both. It was just sad. But I think they had USC vibes last year. They got a little bit worse down the stretch. Stopped tackling. I think it's going to be another, if they give him another year, which, it would have to be pretty bad, I think, for them not to give Brian Kelly another year. But that might be it. I don't think it's this year. I think Gus is going to have to go in there and play a perfect game, and I don't think he's going to be able to against that Clemson defense. I think Rodgers and those guys. I think Clemson tears it up, man. I think they tear apart their defense. I think this is going to be like 42-31. I think it's a pretty high scoring game. Yeah.
You're going You're going up there.
I think Clemson shows up, shows out.
Okay. I'm not going to leave you in suspense. I'm also on Clemson to win this game, and I think Clemson covers the 3.5. Clemson was not very good on defense last year. Even though they had some big names, they were 68th in pass yards per game, 60th in rush yards per game, like 47th in scoring defense.
Yeah.
So what they do, they went out and hired Tom Allen. And they were like, hey, we're going to fix this problem because we have 2 projected first-round picks in Peter Woods and TJ Parker, and we can't have the inability to stop the run like this. So do you guys remember what LSU was ranked in rushing in the SEC last year?
Were they 12th?
Dead last.
Were they really?
Dead last.
They were 16th.
They were 16th. And as much as I harped on Georgia last year for being bad at rushing the ball, there was a team that was worse.
I actually thought you guys were the worst.
It was LSU. Yeah.
I thought you guys were the worst.
No, it was LSU.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how LSU bounces back from that. Like, is Caden Durham going to have room to operate? Because, yeah, you brought in some transfer guys, but you had a first-round pick and a third-round pick on your offensive line last year, and you still gave up 22 sacks.
Yeah.
So for me, it comes down to how much can you protect Garrett Nussmeier? Can you keep him upright? Can you let him operate? Because you brought in these receivers. You have a good receiver core. Garrett can get to them, but he's got to have time to operate. And if Tom Allen improves this defense the way that I think he's going to, with Wade Woodaz and Sammy Brown and TJ Parker and Peter Woods, like, they're going to try to get after him. So I worry if LSU can't run the ball again, it's all on Garrett Nussmeier's shoulders. And I just don't like that because Garrett can kind of be a little bit reckless. And I think that's what's ultimately going to cost LSU this game is I don't think they'll be able to run the ball effectively. Now, don't get me wrong. I say that. I'm not very positive about Clemson's ability to run the ball either because they're starting Adam Randall. He's their projected starting running back. It might be a true freshman.
It probably is going to be a true
freshman. But
freshman.
Adam Randall was a converted wide receiver. He had 4 carries for 44 yards last year. So I don't feel great about Clemson's ability to run the ball either. But I do feel great about Moore and Wesco. So I wanted to find a reason to pick LSU because all offseason with the transfer portals that they brought in, with the hype, with the Garrett Nussmeier's coming back, like it feels like it should be LSU's year. But I did something last year. I picked Brian Kelly to win a lot of games.
You sure did. You sure did, buddy.
And I went like 0 for 4, 0 for 5, I think. So I've kind of shifted, and I'm like, you know what, BK, prove it to me. Like, prove it to me because I know what this team should be, and I know how good the ceiling is. But are they actually going to get there? And if you're starting a year against Clemson, who's bringing back probably just as much as you are you going to be able to go into Death Valley and get that win? Because these last few games, Florida State, you haven't been able to finish. Like you've had the lead. You had the lead last year against USC going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Had the lead against Florida State going into the fourth quarter. You lost both those games. So are you going to be able to make the decision, have the right coaching calls, have your guys ready where if you go into the fourth quarter with a lead, Clemson's not going to be able to snatch it back and win this game late. And from what I've seen over the past few years, I don't believe that. I don't believe LSU's. I think LSU could be winning this game going into the fourth quarter, maybe like 27-24. And then Clemson ends up winning it 34-27. Like I could see this game going the way the past 2 games have gone. Season openers have gone for Brian Kelly. And because of that, man, I'm going to roll with a coach in Clemson and Dabo Swinney, who's, while they weren't great in ranked matchups against SEC teams last year, like they got blanked by Georgia. They only put up 14 points against South Carolina. They looked better in Texas against Texas.
Yeah.
But that was a game that, in all honesty, they probably shouldn't have been in because if Miami would have just handled business, they wouldn't have been playing for an ACC title anyways.
Yep.
So I'm going to roll with Clemson to win and to cover. And I'm kind of going to make Brian Kelly prove me wrong because last year I was on the LSU train and it did not work out for me. So true Death Valley this year is going to reside in Clemson, South Carolina.
100%.
So,
and I will say, I do think the high scoring part of it is LSU's wide receiver talent. Getting Barry and Brown and those guys to transfer is a big deal. Because I kind of think I see the same way. I think it might be a little bit earlier, like late in the third. I think both these teams are going to score, and I think they're going to get real creative. I think we're going to see probably maybe a little too much out of the playbook bag out of both these coaches because this is going to mean a lot. And you're Saturday prime time, brother.
Yeah.
Week 1, it matters a lot. And
Yeah.
you guys are both going to play, I don't remember who the Clemson next week is, but
they're
both are playing kind of stinkers.
Tune-up games.
They're playing tune-up games. So this is going to matter a lot. Get some momentum rolling and see how you really play against. This is big time competition, and I don't believe Nuss can play perfect. That's a good point because I was listening to David Pollock today. That boy is going to try to throw it through a phone book a couple times.
Yeah, I think. See, for me, I think the possibility that Nuss plays perfect is there, but I think it takes so much in front of him for that to happen. Like Caden Durham's got to be able to have a decent yards per carry average. Like that O-line has to give him time. If those two things align, I think Garrett Nussmeier can sit back and deal. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to. Like I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that against this Clemson against what is probably going to be an improved Clemson defense from last year. Because with Chris Hilton Jr. and Xavier Thomas and Aaron Anderson, Clemson's pass defense last year was 68th in the country.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, see, it was horrible.
Yeah,
there are opportunities for Garrett and these receivers, but I just got to see it. I just got to see it happen.
Yeah, I think there's like this weird thing in my mind about Clemson. I don't know if you guys see it the same way. Clemson's talent, I think the continuity, being at home, like all the little factors go in. I feel like they have a little bit more leeway to make like a small mistake than LSU does. I don't know why I always feel that way with this LSU team, but I just feel like they're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make whether that's clock error, whether that's timing, whatever that is. Plus, and that's gonna be coaching, I guess, is what I'm getting at there. I do think Dabo in that experience is just a little bit better, and I don't love to give that man credit, but that's tough. Greg, you're up. We got Miami?
Miami at Notre Dame. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Miami. Notre Dame at Miami.
Yeah. Let me go first because I got to run out of here after I give this prediction because I've got something going on softball-wise. But, okay, so what I'm looking at in this game between Notre Dame and Miami, look, Carson Beck comes in as a big name for Miami, obviously. You lose Cameron Ward. You lose some of the offensive pieces there. They've tried to replace a couple of things. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Notre Dame coming off of the national championship game appearance, everything that Marcus Freeman has built there. CJ Carr, yes, they're breaking in a new quarterback as well as a redshirt freshman, but they return Jeremiah Love, and that is huge behind an experienced offensive line. That'll help CJ Carr as well. They've got some pretty good wide receivers in there, a returner in Greathouse, and then obviously another guy that they brought in as a transfer. His name's escaping me at this moment. But I think those things are going to be huge. They've got elite-level cornerback play as well. That's going to make things really difficult for Carson Beck. I don't believe that all of the turnovers that we saw a year ago were wholeheartedly his fault in Georgia because, as Joseph will tell you, the wide receiver play wasn't very good there as well. But to me, Marcus Freeman has just built such a program there and built it up to it's going to sustain some success. I trust more what he's built versus what Mario Cristobal has built. And I'm not saying what Mario Cristobal has this year is bad by any means, but it's not as good as what Marcus Freeman has. And because of that, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to win this game, and they could win it pretty handily, in my opinion.
Yeah. This one definitely feels low scoring. I know we'll get to everybody's picks, but it does. It's like, who the hell are these guys throwing it to? And if you believe in, because I believe Beck's very talented quarterback, but hey, who's he throwing it to now? And then on the other side with Carr, it's like, how good of a thrower are you? Because, I mean,
Malachi Fields was the other name I was looking for. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I do think both these teams have built up certain aspects of their groups. Like that Notre Dame defense might be just so nasty again. I mean, what you did with Raleigh last year was pretty impressive. Like to run that style offense and get as far as you did and just to dominate. Like if Watts is going in the third round and like what you bring back, I mean, Jeremiah Love's going to be a home run hitter for them, but This could be low scoring. I have a feeling. I don't know if this is going to be a
I'm with you. I
big
think,
time prime time
Yeah.
game. Like I think LSU Clemson could be pretty high scoring. I do think Clemson gets away at the end, but it could be close and high scoring on Saturday, and then we could watch defensive 3 yards in a cloud of dust on Sunday night.
Yeah. Jeremiah Love took one for 70, and that was the only touchdown in the second quarter. Like that's what that's what you could be seeing when this game happens on Sunday night, and it's a standalone game. So Miami's leading receiver from last year.
I'll let you guys get into
Trader.
this.
All right,
been great
we love
to see
you,
guys.
Greg.
Love you guys.
Later,
Have
brother.
fun with the rest of the show. I love Micah Parsons. I'm out.
Parsons jersey.
Parsons jersey incoming. Josiah Trader is their leading receiver coming back from last year. He had 91 receiving yards, but they did get CJ Daniels, who transferred from LSU. He was a 1,000-yard guy at Liberty before he went to LSU. Yeah, so that's a decent option, but I don't know how I feel about those guys against Notre Dame's corners.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I think Miami's going to be better on the lines of scrimmage this year than they were last year, which is good for Carson, but I don't know how effective they're going to be able to run the ball on Notre Dame. Like, I think Notre Dame's going to kind of be able to sit back and just play man, and Miami's receivers might struggle a little bit. I'm with you, Chase. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think 24 is maybe your magic number.
This is all the makings of a classic Notre Dame stranglehold game. And what I mean by that is like they get like a 10-point lead and they just never they never let it go. Like they get a 10-0 lead. Beck struggles to click early. Miami kind of looks like, oh yeah, we brought in a lot of transfers. We have a brand new quarterback. We lost our weapons in the receiving core. We're trying to get everything to mesh. And meanwhile, Marcus Freeman is holding his play sheet. And it says, we're going to run the damn ball until further notice. We're going to punch you in the teeth. We can win this game 24-10, even 20-10 if we really have to. And I guess I'll give away my pick. I'm going to take Notre Dame here. I think Miami. Now, I guess the X factor would be that it is in Hard Rock. And this is
Is that an X factor though?
I don't know, because we haven't seen this Miami team like have to utilize this in a while. Like it's kind of been, they're 3-6. Who cares? Like let's just show up to Hard Rock. But like I don't know. That's a great question, because if it is an X factor, and if Miami is rocking, and they can swing some momentum in their favor, then I think it will help Carson Beck, because I do. As I think you've seen, I think Beck is definitely a fair weather quarterback. When it gets really tough for Beck, when he has limited options, then he really starts to struggle. Mm-hmm. But if he can feel the momentum, if the crowd, if that kind of that home field can give him something to go off of to get some initial confidence, then I think he's as good as anybody. But if not, then I think Notre Dame is going to grab a hold of this game early and never let it go.
Yeah, and I'm if Beck's given time to operate, yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
If he's given time to operate, will Notre Dame give him time? Like, will Miami's offensive line give Carson enough time to sit back and operate? So one thing that kind of makes me a little bit nervous is that Miami was horrendous in pass defense last year. They were ranked 62 in the country in pass yards per game. And they went out and they replaced their entire secondary and their defensive coordinator. And Notre Dame's wide receiver core is kind of sneaky good. Like, they're not really being talked about a lot, but they are kind of talented. But how good is CJ Carr? Like, if CJ Carr, first year starter, how good is he if he has to go out and beat Miami passing the ball? Like, obviously we know what Notre Dame's strategy is. They want to relieve as much pressure off CJ as they can. Give Jeremiah Love as many totes. Like, I think you should give him 20 totes minimum, and just see what you can do, because I think eventually you can get to a point where Jeremiah breaks one. Mm-hmm. And I know I said 24 earlier. The more I think about this game, the more 20 might be.
I think that's the magic number.
20 might be the number.
Yeah. Like, the only way it's not the magic number is if Miami is really good. And if Miami is just out of the gate going to be one of the best teams in college football this year, which I don't see. But like, if you're pounding the rock with Jeremiah Love, I think it does open up a guy like Jaden Greathouse. Like, I think for sure, like he showed last year when teams kind of expected Notre Dame to use Riley Leonard, use Jeremiah Love to kind of pack it in at the line of scrimmage, use Riley Leonard's legs more than his arms. Well, here's Jaden Greathouse, and I mean, he showed on the biggest stages last year that he is a legit threat in college football. I mean, hell, one could argue he's the reason they got to the national championship last year. Like, not the sole reason, but the X factor to get them there was Jaden Greathouse, because he just kind of, like, not that he came out of nowhere, because I don't watch any Notre Dame football. I'll be honest. I'll watch this game, but I avoid them like the plague during the regular season.
Dude, you should watch Notre Dame now. With Marcus Freeman there, it's a much better viewing
I do
experience.
like Marcus Freeman a lot. But like Jaden Greathouse really did kind of come out of nowhere for the casual viewer last year. But now everybody knows that Jaden Greathouse is capable of doing the thing that he did last year during the college football playoff.
Yeah, and how much does Miami's secondary improve? Like that's a big key question.
Great question.
If they make it tough on CJ Carr, and then also Notre Dame struggling to run the ball, it's like, are we in for like a 12-9 game? Is this all going to be field goals?
Yeah,
dear
but
Lord, no.
Another thing too that this comes down to is if you're asking me to pick between these two teams in like so many questions on the offense for Miami, questions at quarterback for Notre Dame. Like, yeah, I trust them. I trust them on the line. I trust Jaden Greathouse. I think their receivers are going to be pretty good for Notre Dame. Like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of CJ Carr. So at that point, if you're asking me to pick like who I trust more from a coaching staff standpoint, I trust Marcus Freeman and his staff not to make some pivotal mistake, because we've seen Mario Cristobal and his staff do it at 2 programs now. Like, he's had chances where it's like, hey, you're a better team, but just a couple of pivotal mistakes or the wrong call, and you end up losing a game you're not supposed to. I feel better about Marcus Freeman and his staff not making those mistakes, not making those critical coaching errors late in this game that's going to give this game away to Miami, because that's what I think carried them to the national championship last year. Was they were disciplined as hell, man. Notre Dame was an incredibly disciplined team, and I think that's going to be something that they're going to pride themselves on again this year. So, in what I like the most about this game is the under. I am going to pick Notre Dame to win, and I am going to pick Notre Dame to cover, because I think the line was only 2.5 for Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
I know you talked about home field advantage, Drew. I'm not buying Miami's home field advantage.
I wouldn't put it out there like it's for sure thing. I'm asking the question: is Hard Rock Stadium going to turn into what it should be?
Yeah,
because if it is, then that's something that not a lot of college football teams can match, because it's a legit NFL stadium. It's built differently.
Well, see, I actually think that's the problem.
Yeah,
I think the problem is that it is an NFL stadium, and it's not the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
So like the way that college football stadiums are constructed, like if you go to A&M, if you go to Georgia, if you go to like the Shoe, it feels like the crowd is like on you,
crawling down your neck.
Yeah, they're on you. But versus these NFL stadiums and the way they're built, it's a little bit different of an entertainment experience. So
more
like
open.
Yeah, and also the stadium's not on campus. So like you have to travel to the game. You have to arrange that. You can't be like, "Hey, I'm in my dorm and like we're just going to walk to the game."
Yeah.
Like I think those are all negatives for Miami in terms of their home field advantage. Because I'll give you a game you can look at. One of the last times Notre Dame went to Miami was one of the last times that Hard Rock was really like packed and loud, and it still wasn't the same as like a Florida home game or a Florida State home game. Like, I don't think Miami will truly ever get the same home field advantage that other schools get unless they get back to the Orange Bowl and they get back on campus.
Yeah.
And they build a stadium that's built like these other college football powerhouse stadiums. So I don't like to give them a whole lot of points in that department. And I think that gives another leg to Notre Dame to go in and just kind of, like you said, choke them out slowly.
Yeah.
In the most Notre Dame fashion.
Yeah.
This will be that game.
It's boring. It's boring to watch. Like Jeremiah Love may break off something. They'll probably have like 2 exciting plays, and you'll look up and you'll be like, man, that just wasn't really the game that I thought it was. And that's the reason I didn't take it in Game of the Year draft, because it's sitting right there, and you want to take it, and it has all the makings. And then, but you kind of think of the way that both these teams are going to have to win this game. It may not be the most exciting football viewing experience, but the sheer implications of the
great catch though, dog.
Of the game and of the college football playoff later, and really of like kind of the conferences too, because like if you're Miami, you can really only lose probably 2 games in the ACC and make it to the conference championship.
Make it.
Yeah, no, I mean if you're losing to Notre Dame,
but you also that's what I'm saying. In that case, if Miami loses 2 and they lose to Clemson, who is like 11-1, 12-0, maybe they still make the college football playoff. But if they're 9-3 and make the conference championship, no way.
With that loss to Notre Dame, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. I feel like these teams, like a lot of their strengths are similar. I think Chris Ball's had 3 years to build up a really, really good offensive line. I think we got some big boy monsters. That JUCO kid they got that's like 6'9", 330.
Yeah, and Francis Mauigoa is an absolute freak, dude. He was a freak as a freshman. He's gonna be a freak as a sophomore.
Yeah,
like
this O-line, but also Notre Dame has one of those O-lines too, and they have a guy that can break open a game. I think Beck is a really, really talented quarterback. I just don't know who he can throw to. I don't think they have a game changer that can beat that Notre Dame secondary. And it's going to be a lot of, I think there's going to be a lot of dink and dunk. You're going to have to rely on some okay backs. I think they had some talent at times, and I think they're going to be a good running back system when you have that kind of offensive line for Miami. I just don't think they match up well. I don't believe in Carr a lot, so that's why I think it's going to be very low scoring. But I just don't know if Beck can move the ball against a really good defense with no game changers on the outside or a tight end. There's no Tyler Warren here also. Like that's the thing is like you don't even have the Drew Aller situation. Like I don't know where he's going to find it. I think Beck's very talented. I do think there is this mental thing that might not all be there like right now, but that could come from injury, bad wide receivers. But we saw what he looked like with bad wide receivers last year. He's going to have the same thing again. And no quarterback does great with bad wide receivers. I get it. And, maybe transfers help. But I think Miami's strengths are strengths that Notre Dame has more of. And I think it's going to be boring. I think we're going to see – I'm going to go exactly with you guys. I think we see one Jeremiah Love touchdown. I think we see a lot of field goals. And the narratives around the game will be so fun. And then you're going to get done and be like, what? That was quick because all he did was run the football and you can't really get anything far. And I think we're going to see a lot of good third down stops. And I'll be honest, it's the same thing how I feel about Nussmeier in the fact of he has a lot of talent, but you don't want to get these guys in 3rd and 7 all the time.
Yeah.
Neither one of these teams in Notre Dame and Miami are going to get 3rd and 7s. At least in the other game on Saturday night, you got guys that can get you a 3rd and 7 every once in a while. These two teams will not get that. I don't think Carr's going to be great, but I think he's going to do just enough. And Jeremiah Love and that offense are going to run it down your throats. And I think that defense probably gets a Beck turnover because I think Beck's probably going to get frustrated and be like, dude, I'm going to have to be a Superman. And I don't think you can be Superman against that defense.
It's definitely within Beck's character of what we've seen so far. Well, he's definitely going to put the weight on himself. And I think the biggest question for Miami this season is he ready for it?
Yeah. You saw it last year when he tried to force a ball because he's like, I got to make a play. And I don't know if it'll be quite as bad as it was at Georgia last year for him. No. I think it'll be a little bit better at Miami. But if he results to that, then I think that's going to end up being like a pivotal turnover in this game that's going to give this game to Notre Dame. This is a game that like your cousin who is the O-line coach, like the local high school comes over and he's just having a fiend watching this game.
Yes.
Because line of scrimmage play is going to be top notch, dude. And he's just like eating it up, loving every second of it. And then like your buddy over there who's like, why is it 7-10? Like these teams suck. Nobody can score. It's like, well.
And not to make it about betting again, somebody's going to take the over that doesn't really know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And they might be right. Maybe we don't know.
No, I mean.
But they're going to take it, and it's going to be the middle of the third quarter, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Because we all got that cousin that just lets it fly. And you're like, dude.
This is a lock, brother.
Sunday night.
I got a roommate. Shut up, Ryan. But
yeah, those guys that just love that. They love that little over button. Yeah. Like, no, dude, this is not the game. If you believe it, you know something I don't.
Wow.
because it just does not feel like
Line movement has gone from 53.5 to 49.5.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest,
Still think that's a little
I'd
high.
still back it. I'd
Still
still back
like
the
it.
under 49.5.
Still like it. Yeah, because I do think from what it sounds like too. I had some articles pulled up here from today, looking through that. Sounds like the defensive line's having a good camp for Miami too. So Carr could have a terrible day.
Yeah.
As good as both these offensive lines are, I don't know, man. This is going to be – you're going to see a lot of TFLs in this game, I think, despite how good these lines are. And I think you're going to see a lot of 3 yards. What happens on third down?
3rd and 3. Oh, Jeremiah loves getting the ball. Oh, shocker.
What do you guys think? Here's a good one.
Okay.
What do you think the third down percentage is for these two teams in this game?
Oh, God.
That could be a stat to watch for Miami Notre Dame.
35.7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
this is gonna be bad.
It could be one of those games where it's like, hey, third and 4 or less, they're like 50%, but 3rd and 5 or longer, it's like
10.
33.
Yeah, yeah, this could be nasty because I think they're gonna. Here's another thing: is I did see the narrative of, well, it's gonna be real tough for Notre Dame to go down to Miami and play in that humidity and that heat. Look what they did at Texas A&M Week 1 last year.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I'm
I don't buy
not-
Notre Dame, and that's the thing. It doesn't go. Typically, it doesn't go that way.
Yeah,
Like the cold weather teams going to warm weather, they're like, "Oh, thank God, my
Yeah.
joints have loosened up." It's when the warm weather teams
Yeah.
go to the cold weather, and they're like, "Dude, this is
How
like a
the hell do you
70
play in
degree
this?
swap."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Look what happened to Tennessee last year.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my Lord.
Yeah. This is miserable.
Yeah.
It's really not even that far, but it made a huge difference.
Yeah.
All right, what's our time?
120,
121.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we did pretty good.
we did all right for
I'm over
today.
here.
Getting better.
I'm over here drafting the world's worst fantasy football team right now.
Nice.
All right.
I hate this
real
team.
quick, give us the rundown. Who you got so far?
I am 6 picks in, and I have Jalen Hurts, Chuba Hubbard, CeeDee Lamb, Brian Thomas Jr., and Terry McLaurin.
That's 3 good waddies.
Yeah, you're not that bad.
I ponied up on the wide receiver, and then somebody who will remain nameless F the draft by taking Josh Allen in the 3rd round, and then went on auto pick. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah,
What a
so I had
walk-off.
to, so everybody, so Lamar, Jaden Daniels, they all got
Everybody
grabbed.
hit the quarterback
Yeah,
panic button.
And I'm going to go ahead and take this victory lap now. So if they come back, I look really stupid in the morning. USF is up 24-7 on Boise State. I'm going to go ahead and take that right now.
Yep.
New customers on FanDuel, bet 5, get 300. This guy right here. I'm going to go ahead and take it. You see that?
He was on the plus 5.5. He sold it to us for the chat slip.
Yeah.
Drew.
You see, yeah, listen. You see the chat slip come up? Just know that Drew guy, he may not always know what he's talking about, but when it comes to obscure group of 5 matchups, lock it in right now.
Early bird special. It's going to be weekly. I'm
Lock
pumped
it.
about it.
Hey, follow us on Twitter, Chatt It Up Sports. We're doing a lot more in Twitter. Hey, TikTok, Instagram. We're doing a bunch of stuff over there. I'm going to give a shout out to one of our most active Twitter engagement person, Cody Ralston at Nuga Bammer. That's his name.
Let's
Nuga
go,
Bammer.
baby.
Shout out to
He's
our
great,
boy.
man. Yeah, he's great. He always engaged on our posts, especially the Alabama posts, of course, with Nuga Bammer being the name.
I got a lot of love and hate also from the Bama people. They're like a lot of text this
Yeah.
last couple weeks after the national championships picks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Because a
look,
lot of people on Bama.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah, it's true. May not happen, but hey, follow us on socials. We're doing some fun stuff over there. Gambling, polls, clips from this show, best moments. So when we get on a 30-minute tangent, you can just watch the 1 minute and 30 seconds that was really good right before the 30-minute tangent.
Exactly. All right. We love yous. We out.